Welcome to the Saucy Scribes podcast.
I'm Alex, your resident book psycho.
I am Ashley, your crystal-loving cat lady.
And I'm Allie, your aspiring author.
Welcome to our episode of the deep dive of Quicksilver by Callie Hart.
Yay!
Since we won't be seeing you every week, we give you a brief summary of the lovely cocktails we have planned out for the entire month. So keep an eye out on our Instagram at Saucy Scribes Pod for the recipes as the month progresses. Welcome to the Quicksilver cocktail lineup, a shimmering set of drinks inspired by Callie Hart's world of gods, fae, and vampires. Each recipe captures a different facet of the story, from the brutal desert city of Zilvarin to the seductive pull of Fisher's shadows. Raise a glass to magic, madness, and a little bit of mayhem.
First, we have Quicksilver, a sparkling gin cocktail kissed with rosemary honey and edible silver glitter. Bright, botanical, and just a little dangerous. Like the alchemical magic that gives the book its name, it's beautiful and volatile all at once.
Next up, we have Thirst of Zilvarin. In a city where water is rarer than mercy, this cucumber mocktail is a quiet rebellion. Pure, cooling refreshment in a land of heat and dust. Sip slowly, savor every drop, and imagine finding your own oasis among the dunes.
Next, we have Shadow Magic. This black gin Ramos Fizz channels the allure and danger of Kingfisher's shadow magic itself. Made with activated charcoal, citrus, and a sparkling finish. It's beautiful, consuming, and impossible to resist, just like our MMC.
And lastly, we have Love's First Bite, a devil's margarita layered with blood red wine, sweet, sharp, and sinfully smooth. This one's for the moments that hurt so good that you can't walk away, no matter how much you know you should.
From the shimmer of Quicksilver to the stillness of Zilvarin, the darkness of shadow magic, and the temptation of love's first bite, each drink is a touch of alchemy, a taste of Callie Hart's world where beauty and danger are always entwined. Sip, savor, and make sure to sit down and enjoy your cocktail on Kingfisher's right-hand side. Cheers!
Cheers!
Our Patreon is officially live. If you love the show, consider becoming a first-year scribe for just $5 a month. You'll get early access to the ad-free episodes, a digital cocktail booklet for each book we cover, and an exclusive printable dust sleeve designed to mimic the look of vintage leather-bound books. Perfect for dressing up your romantasy shelf. This membership is a way to support the show and help us continue bringing this magical, messy, and swoony content to life. And if you've got a moment, we'd love if you rated and reviewed the podcast wherever you are listening.
Before we dive in, we need to give a spoiler warning. We will be discussing the entire book, including anything Callie Hart has said in interviews. If we reference another series spoiler, we will give a spoiler sound in the episode so you can skip ahead.
And now, a quick heads up from your saucy scribes. Quicksilver isn't your average love story. It's a dark, electric dive into obsession, vengeance, and a thin line between desire and destruction. Between the heat and heartbreak, expect violence, trauma, grief, and unapologetically steamy encounters. In other words, things get intense. We know the dark romance world doesn't sugarcoat its edges, and neither do we. So here's your velvet with a bite blanket trigger warning. If any of these themes feel heavy, please take care of yourself and pause when you need to. Your well-being comes first, always. But if you're ready to chase the chaos, pour yourself something strong, brace your heart, and let's unravel this wild, wicked ride together. All right, scribes, let's get into it. Now that we have the warnings covered, cocktails are poured, and hearts are sufficiently braced, it's time to unravel Quicksilver, a story that proves sometimes the sharpest blades wear the most charming smile. Our FMC, Saeris Fane, lives in Zilvarin, a desert city where water is rarer than a morally upstanding man. And she has just stolen a gauntlet from a guardian. Why? Because she can. Duh. The punishment is torture and death. But that's tomorrow's problem. She tracks down her brother Hayden, who's hanging out with Carrion Swift, a smooth-talking criminal and Saeris' former situationship, and immediately regrets all of her life choices. When Hayden doesn't stay where Saeris told him to, shocking to no one, Saeris goes full big sister mode and ends up confessing to the theft of the gauntlet to save him, and taking about 2 guardians out before she's hauled into the terrifying Queen Madra's braces. Madra's like, "You fight like a fae," and Saeris is like, "What are you smoking?" Things escalate fast. She's stabbed. melts a dagger with her weird metal magic, grabs a random sword, and oops, accidentally opens a portal into another world. Out of the Quicksilver pool rises a man who is definitely not the Grim Reaper, but does wrap a necklace around her neck and drag her through the glowing puddle as she is about to die. Normal, everyday things. Saeris finally wakes up, fully healed, in the Fae realm of Ivelia and immediately meets Everlane and Ren, a chaos duo on a mission to hide their friend and or brother, Kingfisher. Surprise! He's the hot death chain guy. Kingfisher, or Fisher, is a broody immortal with a tragic backstory, a god complex, and the energy of a man who will ruin your life and your bed. Saeris wants to go home, but the king of Ivelia, Belicon, is like, too bad, learn alchemy. Kingfisher takes the lead on her alchemy training, and quickly it devolves into tension, banter, and one ill-advised makeout session that ends with Saeris stealing his not-so-magic ring. Fisher retaliates by trying to fetch her brother through the Quicksilver pool, but instead brings back Carrion, because the Fates just love chaos. Now stuck together, the world's most awkward trio flees the palace with Ren in tow and heads for Fisher's home in Kalish, where Saeris learns about Ivelia's century-long war against Sanisroth, a land full of vampires led by one big, bad, ancient psychopath named Malcolm. The sexual tension between Saeris and Fisher hits catastrophic levels. They bicker, they fight, they bang, they pretend they don't have feelings. Classic romantasy behavior. Then she wakes up with glowing runes on her hands, meaning fated mates. Shocking. Nobody again. They can now telepathically flirt and or argue in their heads, because that's exactly what two stubborn idiots need. Saeris gets stronger with her Quicksilver magic, like forges magical swords while humming to liquid metal strong, and then cuts a deal with the Quicksilver itself because apparently it talks. It's giving cryptic god energy. Everything's going almost fine until Malcolm kidnaps Everlane and demands Fisher hand over Saeris. Turns out Fisher is dying slowly from the Quicksilver inside of him because, of course, he is. And the big plan is to reject their mate bond to protect her. Naturally, that lasts about 5 minutes before they have an emotionally devastating hookup and he gives in. The next morning, Fisher is gone on a solo suicide mission. Men, am I right? Saeris, Carrion, and Lorith refuse to let him go full-on martyr mode, so they follow him into Gilthrai, a city straight out of zombie hell. There, they learn that the royal siblings, known as the Triumvirate, Madra, Belicon, and Malcolm, have been orchestrating the whole eternal war thing, because why fix problems when you can just immortalize them? Saeris is so done with everyone's nonsense, dives into the labyrinth Fisher was stuck in for 100 years, finds a magical coin that can free the souls of the Fae, and kills Malcolm. Unfortunately, she dies too, because this is that kind of book. But wait, she's resurrected by a vampire lord named Taladeus, gets cosmic TED-talked from Zareth, the god of chaos, who tells her that she and Fisher are destined to maybe end the world together, and wakes up as a half-fae, half-vampire queen. Fisher isn't dead. That's a miracle. And with a witch and healer's help, finally almost figure out how to purge the Quicksilver from his body. Sarah's killed the big bad, saved the realm, and is now the queen of Sanisroth, which is exactly the level of drama she deserves. And that's Quicksilver. Fated mates, forbidden magic, and more tension than Fisher's self-control. But the story isn't over yet. Next up, we're heading into Threads of Theory, where the world cracks open wider, the magic gets darker, and the stakes and the heat climb even higher. Grab your Quicksilver, refill your glass, and let's dive deeper into Ivelia.
Great.
Woo! All right. I mean, let's start off at the beginning in Zilvarin, meeting Saeris. Yes. And right off the bat, we see she has a weird ability to talk to metals. And it's a little creepy. She sees us, she feels us, but when
She sees us, she feels us.
Yes, but when you do it on a reread, she thinks it's the quartz talking to her. And later on throughout the book, she realizes that the Quicksilver is just like all over every other type of metal, and that's what's talking to her. But I also kind of feel like in the other books, we might see her play with more metals. Like, I actually don't think her ability is just the Quicksilver. You know,
Yeah,
she
I
has
agree.
all these runes on her hands saying she can do all these different things. And
Yeah.
even Malcolm says, like, oh, you're such a silly girl if you think you can only talk to the Quicksilver. So, like,
Yeah.
it's like, is it the Quicksilver she's talking to in Sylvarin, or is it actually
Yeah.
the other metals?
No,
Unsure.
yeah. She's
I think-
totally, she's totally attuned to like the planet itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She is attuned with all of the elements, you know?
What does
Yes.
Fisher say about her runes? Like, I don't know, a bunch of alchemeral bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
and she was
essentially.
like, I would like more detail,
Hello?
please.
Like, wait.
What else?
Like, you're being cagey. Tell me what it really means.
Say
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Say
Yeah.
more.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, Sylvarin, it sounds like a not fun place to grow up or live. Don't sign me up. But we do meet a really fun character right off the bat, Mr. Carrion Swift, who I think is like everyone's favorite character in the whole novel.
So fun.
He's
Gosh,
so funny.
It's gonna be whoever plays this role in whatever adaptation they have is gonna have the best time.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And Callie has already said he gets his own spin-off book. So
Oh,
very
yeah.
I
excited for
mean,
that.
Yeah. Amazing.
I love how she said, Carrion is not done with me yet. And I was like, oh, Callie.
Yes. But as we see throughout the book, he really does care about Saeris. But do we think he actually has romantic interest in her, or is he just like the most biggest flirt of all time?
I think he's just a flirt.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think he does it to get under her skin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's what's going to make his series interesting whenever he has his spinoff is going to be like, who comes into his life that makes it different?
Right. Who's not just like
Ooh.
a flirt.
Who's not just
yeah.
like, yeah. I mean,
He's
Yeah.
going to give him a run for his money.
yeah, I think it's some, like, there is truth in, obviously, he gets off on this, but I mean, we've learned a little bit about him. He's had to figure out how to be normal or whatever for how
human.
long. Like, he's like, how do I do this, man? Like, I have to have some fun.
But I also kind of wonder if, like, so we get hints of this, and we know too that Zareth, the god of chaos, changed Saeris's like past essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and she does have a lot of attributes that are from the royal Fae line, like the dark
Mhm.
hair. They talk about how she even has a Fae name. So I wonder if he's like more
she's
attracted
lanky.
to her. Yeah, I wonder if he's more attracted to her than all the other humans in Sylvarin because of these traits.
I'm sure.
Right on the nose. I think.
Yeah.
sure.
And even though he's not like in love with her, I bet he's like probably a little more obsessed with her because
Yeah.
she does remind him of home.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something there. I don't think that it's just random.
Yeah. I do love that as the book goes on, they get more of like a playful, almost like brother-sister relationship of like best friends versus
Yeah.
like ex-lovers. I
Yeah.
love that. And they
Yeah.
obviously do end up caring very deeply for each other. I mean,
Lovers
Carrie
to
Ann,
friends.
yeah. And I really love that. It's just refreshing. We don't actually see a lot of ex-boyfriends in a lot of these books that stick
No.
around and have a plot line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun.
Though we do get an ex-girlfriend in the Empyrean series.
We do.
Yes, that's true. Yes,
we
that's
do.
true.
We do.
Oh, we do have an ex-boyfriend in that series too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But there is also like some theories out there that because Saeris has this like royal, potentially Fae looking heritage, that they could be like related in some way. And I just like, I know, like hard pass on
Okay.
that.
I did think that initially, but like as the story progresses, it's like, no. That's just no.
Just no. Like
I think a lot of people probably get that because it's like, I had your blood and I found him, but it was other sense.
right. And like some people are still saying, well, maybe he really did smell her blood or things like that. And I'm just like, I feel like that's just not a romantasy trope that we dabble in of like,
No.
even if like they were so many generations removed because he's, you know, like 1,300 years old, however old he is, I'm going to do a hard pass on that.
Agreed.
Like, just, this is not Game of Thrones. We don't need to have siblings like having sex. Like,
Yeah. No, thank you.
yeah.
I
and
also feel like the general consensus on Game of Thrones was like, why is this here?
yes, like it's
Yeah.
not something anyone is like, please. So, and I don't think it's Callie Hart's intention either. She did say in an interview that a lot of those descriptions of Saeris, she wanted people to wrongly assume Saeris might be the heir that was hidden in Sylvarin. So I do
makes
think that's part of it too.
Mhm.
But they're not related. Just can't. I can't. I don't
Squashed.
Yeah.
squash.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but I'm squashing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
No.
Okay.
We also meet Elroy and her brother.
Mhm.
Do we think we'll see them again? Like, what was their point in the story, to be honest?
Yeah.
I mean, I think her brother represents the human tether, right? Like the side that keeps her from falling like fully into Fae or vampirous or whatever, at
Vampiric
first. I
nature.
feel like yeah, I feel like, when he says I didn't realize I was such a burden, right? Or whatever.
That was
It
heartbreaking.
Yeah, so
it
sad.
hints that she sees herself as like, cursed in a way, not like gifted or whatever.
And I do feel like we had to not really like Hayden because I don't think anyone is like, ooh, I really wish she would go back to Zilvarin. You
Right,
know what I
exactly.
mean? Because she wants to stay in Yavelia. We want her to stay in Yavelia. So I think if her brother was like this lovable character that we all wanted rescued and not this kind of like waste of space
Yeah.
guy he kind of
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
we would
Yeah.
all be a little more like, she needs to really get back there. But because
Yeah.
of his type of
Yeah.
character, you're kind of just like, well, he's fine. She can leave him
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And even after Carrion's like, no, I set him up. He's good. Like, he's fine. He has a job.
He's living better than when you were taking
You
care
were
of him.
taking
No
care of him.
offense.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think we will see them again. I think we will probably go back to Silvarin because there's other things unresolved there, like Fisher's father and finding out
Yeah.
more of those ties.
Well, and
Yeah.
who's going to replace Maeve?
You mean Madra?
Sorry, Madra.
Someone's been reading
Yeah.
a lot of Thrones of
Sorry.
Glass. Yeah.
Yes. I also think that, those characters are to see what happens when the mortal world like intersects with the immortal again.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I could see Elroy almost having a bigger role than her brother in the future
Yeah.
books
I
Yeah.
agree.
I agree
because
too.
of his history.
Yeah.
So one of the big questions in Sylvarin, and that we still don't really understand by the end of this book, is how is Madra still alive? It's interesting that the humans that she rules over also don't know how she's alive. She doesn't even give an explanation. She's just like, I'm a human who lives forever.
The immortal
Crazy.
queen.
Yes, and I'm sorry. On my reread, I kind of forgot about this, that she calls herself the Eternal Virgin.
Like what?
Sorry, what? I actually like laughed out loud on my reread. I was like, oh, I don't feel like this is the vibe. She's hilarious.
Nope.
It just has to be like a funny, like, there's no way.
Eternal virgin. Yeah, I mean it's so it's a weird thing to say.
But it's also, I think she's giving herself that god complex because she erased all the other gods. So she's trying to lift herself up as a god. And, it's kind of like that Virgin Mary, like in our culture.
Yeah, the archetype of all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Regarding the word virgin, I was actually looking into this recently. And up until the Catholic Church got involved, virgin essentially just meant a woman who does not like tie herself to a man.
Whoa.
So I wonder if that's kind of the play on words here.
It probably is because she's unmarried.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Allie coming in with the historical facts.
Allie. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Oh my gosh, I'm going to look this up right now.
It's actually so interesting because up until the church got involved, virgin was not anything to do with sex or anything like that at all.
Interesting.
Wow. I found a definition that does connect the elements. Okay, ready? Allie is correct. In ancient and pre-Christian societies, the meaning of virginity often referred to a woman's strength, autonomy, and status as being one in herself rather than sexual experience. Symbolically, it was associated with powerful natural elements and deities who embodied wildness, independence, and creativity. This changed over time, particularly with the rise of Abrahamic religions, which began to define virginity in more literal, physical, and gendered terms. The old meaning of virginity, autonomy and completeness, natural and elemental associations like earth as a representation of wholeness, water, like the youth god Nefertum, and like all these things, flame, flora, like it is sort of elemental in a way. And how I think the evolution of the concept of virginity, we could probably do a whole podcast on now that we know. Like, this is crazy. Thank you,
I know,
Allie.
is that what? Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I thought it was super
love
interesting
that.
and I was just
Me
like,
too.
what?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but
Okay,
like,
great.
so if we're tying her to like this other sense of virginity and the elements, we also learn in this portion that the palace has a hall of mirrors
Mhm.
and it's no longer used, but it's where all the gods were. And when Heron gets attacked by the Quicksilver, he starts saying that he sees obsidian broken and everywhere. It's in the ground, it's in the passageways, it's in the walls, it's moving. But they used to historically use obsidian to make mirrors. And I've also been wondering, like, why is Zilvarin important? Why has she cut them off from the rest of the world? What is she hiding in Zilvarin that's important or useful? And I
Yeah.
feel like it has to be all connected.
Oh, yes,
Well,
absolutely.
and that ties into Malcolm too, because his whole castle is made out of obsidian.
Yeah. So, like, a lot of people think too, like in the Kingfisher POV chapter at the end of this book, when he's going through the pool, he thinks that Heron is seeing the maze that he was in that's made out of obsidian because the Quicksilver is touching him and all the Quicksilver is connected. But I actually don't think that's what's happening. I think he's talking about the palace that he's in.
Absolutely.
Which also going back to that very first scene when she's climbing the wall and like the quote quartz is speaking to her, I'm like, what is in the ground? Because what if
Tiny pieces of mirror.
Quicksilver is like tied into the ground somehow?
Well, it
Like
is.
she is
I mean,
actually
these are
in
No,
like
it
the
is.
biggest
Yeah.
well of it or something, and that's why
Yeah.
Madra wants it.
Yeah. I mean, these are all crystals, ladies.
Why would she want this desolate space? You know,
I
like
don't think it has
I
to
don't-
do with the Quicksilver. I think there's other elements and magic we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
Like,
I
we
think so
know a
too.
lot about the Quicksilver and she has her pool, yes, and all of that, and that she's frozen. But I think, like, there's a lot of little breadcrumbs here of, like, what does the obsidian mean?
Yeah.
So obsidian usually symbolizes truth, protection. They call it the stone of truth. It has dark, glassy surface. It has hidden truths. To me, that's just such a symbolism of,
Mhm.
like, the truth of Zilvarin, of, like, why it's important kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I also think, like, let's talk about the symbolism of mirrors in ancient times, as well as any sort of religious or mystical belief system. I feel like
Mhm.
mirrors have a myriad of things, right? Even if you go into the
Scrying.
tropes of even Disney, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest among, right? It's very, in certain religious practices, you cover the mirrors, right? At certain
Mhm.
times when the veil is thin or whatever, because it can, like reflect the souls of the dead. Or,
Mhm.
you look in the mirror and it's a reflection of your truest self, right? Whether you do or you don't want to see that. There's so many things that can be tied to mirrors as magical objects. It feels like it could be portals. What was the thing that when we were kids, right? You would like say the thing and turn 3 times. Was it like was
Oh,
it Mary?
Mary.
Bloody
Yeah.
Mary. Bloody
I was
Yeah.
like,
Mary.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah.
You're like, I'm not saying
You're
that.
like, I don't know. But like it's very that, right? Like, maybe there's something to be said about the mirrors symbolically keeping them alive if
Yeah.
it's a portal for the dead, right? Like, or any of these things. Like,
Like,
it could
maybe it's
be
like the source of her magic, of how
right.
she's become immortal. Because she's also, let's not forget, somehow offered immortality to Heron. He's
Yeah.
probably just as old as she is, and he has
Right.
said that she won't let me die. She won't let me go.
Yeah. I also think that, like, I think in ancient Egypt, people were buried with mirrors in their tombs because it was a symbol for eternal beauty and it would guide
Mm.
them in the afterlife. And I feel like even in ancient Chinese cultures, they believed that mirrors would help guide you after death.
Well, there's also a point too with what you guys are saying about the mirrors, specifically in Zilvarin. It seems like there's a lack of mirrors there because when Saeris gets to Avelia and Everline is dressing her, she looks at herself in the mirror and she's like, I've seen my reflection before,
Mhm.
but I've never seen myself this clear in like a
Yes.
proper
Yeah.
mirror. And I was like, whoa, are there no mirrors?
Yeah.
There.
It's interesting because also, like, think about mirrors in vampire culture.
Yeah. Well, I don't think so, too, because, when she's talking about working with Elroy, he makes windows, which is similar to mirrors. And she's like, well, only the most rich people can even afford these windows.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't have windows anywhere in the third.
Yes, they also don't have really water. They don't have
Yeah.
enough water to see their reflection. So, like, that's also very interesting.
Yeah.
Something
Which
about
also
the
brings me
reflection.
to, why do they call it the Silver City in the first place? I don't. Like, is it because of
Yeah.
its history with mirrors? Mirrors usually
Yes.
come off as silver,
I
but
think
like
so.
otherwise, if we weren't deep diving and going so heavily into obsidian and
Yeah.
mirrors and what it all could mean, it's like, why in the world do they call it the Silver City?
Yeah.
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 It doesn't make any sense. It should be called like the Beige Sand City. Like,
Yeah.
It's like
The
the
city of
opposite.
dust.
The city of dust.
I think while the long forgotten gods might be dormant, they are sealed behind these reflective barriers. And I think, Silver City sure, the Quicksilver, sealing the gods in, the realms, all that stuff. She built a city on top of like divine graves. And I think
Built a
Silver
city.
built
Sorry.
this city
Well,
on
it's interesting
Quicksilver. Yeah.
that you say that because I had a thought of like, she's been so horrible for so long. Why haven't the gods like smited her or done something?
Yeah.
They're
But maybe
blocked.
these mirrors are like blocking them, or maybe because
Yeah.
she's still the Quicksilver, they could never get through.
Yeah.
But why are they letting this happen if
But
it's
that's
also like
also,
killing the
yeah,
tree of life that they've built? Because I think
right.
it is.
Yeah, I think it is too. And that's why, alchemists are also few and far between.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
Because they're
Callie
the ones.
has said that there are other alchemists. We just haven't
Yes.
met them
I
yet.
think it said, I think they said that in the book too, right? They said that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That, she's just the first one who's come into the story. And obviously,
Yeah.
she's the most
Most
powerful one
powerful.
recorded in history, which is
Yeah.
crazy. But then we come up to Kingfisher coming through the pool, rescuing her while she's dying. And I love that Callie did give us his POV during this recently in the re release of the books. Because when you read it the first time, it has that double meaning, which I love when you get in books. And it plays into that snarky, like, oh, he hates her character, where he's like, oh, she's so pathetic, and like all of those things that he says. But then when you get to his POV, you realize he's talking about himself
Yeah.
out loud and
Yeah.
that he's pathetic because he can't just walk away from her and leave her there, and that she's
Yeah.
this like weak, dying human. And I can't
do
leave
it.
her. This woman, I realize she's my mate. What's wrong with me? I should be going after Madra, getting revenge for my father, and I'm giving all of that up to rescue this frail, dying human. What is
Yeah.
wrong with me?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, it's like a puppy or a cat on the side of the road. Like, I'm not going to keep driving.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. I mean, she is his whole sole reason for living. We later find out.
Sole reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also find out later, too, that he tells her he felt the mating bond snap into place in that moment and all those things. And he was just so angry at himself, not her. But when you read it from her point of view, she thinks that he hates her. And it definitely helps build that whole enemies to lover arc that we love.
Yeah.
Which is, I just love that like
And the
fun little
tension.
twist. Yeah.
Yeah, lessons.
Exactly.
By Kingfisher.
It's by dual POV.
Yes. And which she did say the next book is 50% Kingfisher's POV.
Which I am
Oh.
so excited
So
about.
excited
Like,
for, yes.
that's so cool.
Yeah, she said obviously she couldn't do it in the first book because it would ruin all of like the twists,
Mhm.
but that the next one is half him, and I'm very excited for that.
Exciting.
Yes.
Coming
So
out soon.
So Saeris wakes up in Yavelia.
Mhm.
And I do really love the attention to detail here where she's like, oh my God, there's paintings on the wall. She's never seen a bathtub before. And the whole interaction with Lainey too, where she's just like, is she going to make me pay for this water? She doesn't know I don't get this much water. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of those details and just the idea of also using water to bathe is so like almost abhorrent to her because
Yes,
she's like,
absolutely.
what are you doing?
She's like, I'm so selfish. Just
Yes.
And it's warm.
And it's warm.
Mm.
Like, I love all these little details that she didn't forget to include, essentially. I think sometimes when you're building these complicated worlds with these people who grew up in such a different way, you can kind of like forget that they would see the world so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love that all of that is included here.
Me too.
And then, she takes her to the throne room. It's kind of, I mean, off the bat, the way she talks about her own father is definitely strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we all immediately get a sense that he's questionably good or bad.
Mhm.
And
Not
we
good
see
vibes.
not good vibes. And in his hall room is Omnishakrai, the last dragon, skull, body, and all of that, which we find out later. Fisher is the one who killed, but it's just like, it seems like such a grand moment for the dragons not to be a part of the story anymore.
Yeah.
Do we really think that that's the last
interesting.
dragon? Just feels like too big of a moment for the
Yeah.
dragons not to be involved anymore.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't even, yeah.
Like, it almost felt like to me, like in spoiler for Game of Thrones, it felt very much to me like the dragons in Game of Thrones, where it's like they were all over the hall. Like, they had all the skulls and everyone thought they were dead for generations. And then lo and behold, dragons reappear.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when the portal is open between all of the worlds, right? There needs to be another force involved for whatever reason, like between humans and Fae and vampire.
Maybe the dragons are hiding right now because of the war.
Yeah.
They don't want to be
Fair.
involved.
Yeah.
And
Who
also
knows?
it is possible because they said once the Quicksilver pools were all sealed, whoever was on the other side got stuck. Like, what if the dragons
Right.
were like through one of those?
Mm-hmm.
That would be wild.
Do we have dragons in the future?
I could see us having dragons in the story in the future. Otherwise, it's kind of like, why introduce them if they're all dead?
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like maybe they're the guardians between all the realms, right? And now the realms are all closed essentially to each other. So it's like they, maybe I don't know. Who could know?
Who could know?
Yeah.
But we meet Bellicon. He's cagey as fuck. He is overacting. I think we all know when we meet Kingfisher that he's the MMC. So for
Mm-hmm.
Bellicon to be so rude and demeaning towards him, automatically I was like, even though I don't like Kingfisher at this point, I'm like, I don't like you either.
Yeah, of course.
I like you
feels wrong
less.
with that. I like you even less.
Yeah.
And obviously we know what the twist happens at the end. So when you reread this meeting again, it's so
Mhm.
obvious how
Yeah.
like evil and put on Bellicon is of like
Mm-hmm.
performing for his court and just
Yeah.
like over the top trying to make Fisher the bad guy. But you even
Mhm.
see like some of the Fae in the room are kind of like uncomfortable with what's being said and
Yes.
done because they
Yeah.
suspect the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's even like the whispers that go through it. Release him. And then other people are
Yeah.
like, kill him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell that there's unrest. And not
Definitely.
everybody is like 100% sold on Bellicon.
Well, and of course, we find out that he killed the former king. So I don't think, like, personally, I would ever be sold on someone who staged a coup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's like, well, that's already a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you have the best intentions.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
Yes. But then we go into our whole banter scenes where Fisher's being really mean to Saeris, teaching her about the Quicksilver. She's learning lessons from Lainey. I mean, I do really like Lainey, but I do think she's a little annoying in this part of the story
Yeah.
where she's just trying to teach her like court things. And everyone else is like, she has a week to learn about the Quicksilver
Yeah.
or like she's going to be murdered. So maybe
Yeah.
we should focus on that instead of like court politics.
There's a reason why
Yeah.
she was able to be taken, so whatever,
But we do love
Aw,
Lainey.
poor
Yeah.
Lainey.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah.
Lainey. But she is a little irritating. I kind of agree with Saeris kind of being like, you're such a great friend, but bye. And then, Saeris concocts her whole plan to steal Fisher's ring, all of that. So, and then this just comes to our discussion of he goes and he steals Carry-On instead of Hayden. He claims it's because blood and arousal sense are very intertwined. And I think that could definitely be true. I feel like that's a plenty enough explanation. I don't think they're related.
Yeah.
Gross.
And they also made it very clear they are not able to bathe very often or with very much water.
So yeah, the scent would definitely still be there. Gross. Just gross. But he does make her give this oath. And obviously, it's like one of those very morally gray points of the book where you're kind of like, he's stripping her of her free will. Do we like this guy? But I think that's the fun of it, of like making him a very morally gray character. And then finding out the reason he's doing all these things to her later is just kind of like, well, I guess we can forgive you.
Yeah.
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 I agree.
So they get to college, which is great. They finally have a moment of real weakness where they kiss in the tent. And she is going on and on about how saving the people of College and Yavelia is the right thing to do, even though she doesn't know the Fae literally at all. And that's what makes Fisher snap and just like go at her. And I kind of love that that's the thing that gets him to just be like, fuck, she is my mate. I can't stay away from this woman.
There she is.
There she is. Ah, I just love it. It's like him falling in love with her personality. And on a reread, you know that he knows who she is and all those things. And he's trying to stay away from her. And he just has this moment of like, you were annoying me. And I was trying to like think of all of your bad qualities because you're a human and you're weak and you're my weakness and all these things. And then you have to go and say something noble
about my people
and heroic. And I just can't.
Crazy.
Yep.
But something that I've been kind of fuzzy on is it almost seems like Ren has always known where Fisher has been the past 100 years, but no one else seems to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I like I can't figure out if he knows or not, because if he did, because obviously Fisher can't tell anyone. He's, beholden to this
Yeah.
oath.
Bound. Yeah.
Bound. But he makes a comment about when Danya and everyone else is yelling at Fisher about, like, you should just tell them, and Fisher cuts him off. And it makes it sound like Ren knows, but if Ren knew, why wouldn't he just tell everyone else? But maybe he's just like giving Fisher the benefit of the doubt and also doesn't know.
Well, I think he knows that wherever he was, it was horrible. And so I think that's at least how I was reading it, not that he knows explicitly where he was. Almost like he's like, I trust him enough to know that he would never just leave us. And whenever he
Right.
returned, it was like he is not the same person. So, like, I don't know. I think it is that benefit of the doubt, just like I trust him fully kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that too. Fisher also is explaining to Saeris, Stannis Rothian, Malcolm, all those things. And he very specifically tells her that Malcolm is the only one strong enough to fully turn someone and ensure they remain themselves. And he cannot lie as an oath-bound Fae. But then we find out at the end of the book that Tal also has this ability and has been hiding it from Malcolm from centuries. So I feel like this is a little bit of a plot hole. Because it's when he says this, he knows that Tal can do this. So it's technically a lot. Like, I can't even see a way around it of like the wording being vague. Like, he specifically says Malcolm is the only one strong.
But maybe at the time, that's what he thought.
No, because like later on, Tal doesn't like tell him that while Saeris is dying. He already knows. And like and we know from the extra bonus POV that him and Tal are actually very good friends. So like it does feel like a tiny baby plot hole that I'm just gonna let slide away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't tell a lie, then the statement should have been true, unless there's like loopholes, right?
But that's what I'm trying to think is like, where's the loophole in the way he's worded this? But I can't see one.
Like a Zayden.
Exactly, like where you're telling half truths or whatever,
right?
And I'm
or like a lawyer truth. You know what I mean?
Yes, like, but like he very specifically says Malcolm is the only one, and it's like,
what is the actual quote again? Strong enough.
Yeah, Malcolm is the only one strong enough to fully turn someone and ensure they remain themselves, like quote unquote.
Right. I mean, maybe he is the only one that's strong enough. Maybe Tal needs some other kind of, help. I don't know. Maybe there's something else magical involved.
But also, to be fair, she's no longer human.
But they don't know that's going to happen at this point. Like, he doesn't know that he's like not being fully honest. I don't know. It just definitely feels a little plot holy.
Yeah, no, totally. We're like looking for
trying to
the way,
yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm sure. I mean, he's the only one strong enough. Maybe it just means for vampires, and Tal is a hybrid. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Okay.
Yep. Let's move on.
Yes.
To the first time they bangity bang.
Okay, you guys, like, I just feel like the spice scenes, there's not a lot of spice scenes, but where there are spice scenes, they're pretty hot.
Yeah.
They're very hot. And she has said in interviews that it's, she likes spice in books. So, of course, she's going to give that to readers, but she wants to make sure that the spice has purpose. Like, she's not just going to like put it in there just to make the book spicy. You know what I mean? Like, she wants it to actually bring the characters close together and have a real purpose. So that's why there's not as much of it.
She also edges the reader.
Oh, yeah.
You get so many almost, and you're just like, huh.
I will say the only thing that threw me off the first time I read this book was the first time they ever have sex, he like immediately starts choking her. And I was like, okay, we're not going to talk about that first. That feels like something we should maybe talk about. Like consent.
Did you inquire that she wanted that?
Yeah, that feels something we need a little consent for. That's quite an aggressive foreplay situation.
She did seem into it, though.
She did seem into it. He's also still in his morally gray, telling her what to do with her oath phase during this portion of the book. So I'm obviously just like, okay. But it was surprising to me because this was one of the more early romantasy books that I read. And so much of romantasy is about like consent and like making sure all like, things around sex are like positive. Not that, choking can't be a fun time for them, but it just feels like something they should have discussed before doing.
Yeah.
Like the biting. Like the biting,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we do, during this scene, one of his tattoos slides from him to her, and it's a bird on her boob that she later gets very upset about.
Mm-hmm.
But later, we find out his mate tattoo also is a bird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious why birds are linking them at first. And I think at
Yeah.
first, when this tattoo happens, we think it's just some like silly form of magic, and that because we have no idea about the mate bond at this point. But obviously,
Mhm.
it does have something to do with the mate bond, I think. I
Yeah.
don't think tattoos just randomly slide off their skin
No.
normally. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Well, in going to the bird thing, but I did find it really interesting that when she was in that like passed out phase after Vitellius bites her and saves her and everything like that, when she's like floating down the river and she sees a bird and she's
Mhm.
just like, is that a bird? And then she's just watching this bird. So I'm like, is that Kingfisher? Like, is this actually like part of their mate bond situation?
I
Oh,
love
that's so
that.
Like he's like
sweet.
guiding her through this. Like,
That's so
Wait,
sweet.
I love that.
Ugh, I mean, back to like symbolism of things. The
Mhm.
bird is a symbol of freedom,
Mm.
rebirth, flying. I think, obviously a tattoo that transfers during intimacy suggests like a merging of souls. And I think, the sterilization, we have to talk about the sterilization and the
Yeah.
control tactic of
Ugh.
Madra. I think they feared that her offspring could end immortality, right? Like that's why they would sterilize. Like they obviously, I think there's a deeper meaning here. And I think that it's a little bit of foreshadowing because we think about how she was told that together they could end like
Right.
immortality, right? Or whatever.
They could end the world.
They could end the world as they know it, right? Or whatever it
Yeah.
is. So I feel like it's a little bit of foreshadowing that she will maybe get pregnant
I think she will.
in like a metaphysical way. She's like creating a new kind of life or magic or world or whatever it is, right? And so they're giving wings to a new type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, like the whole sterilization storyline just screams foreshadowing of
Yeah.
like once she's changed to half human, half fae, or like if the fae can regrow a hand, I'm pretty sure they can regrow a uterus. Like,
Hello?
Also,
hello?
interestingly, Kingfisher says that they have some other organs that human bodies don't have. So I'm like,
Yeah.
so now that you're no longer human at all, does that mean that theoretically you're no longer sterilized?
Yes, that's exactly my thought too. And it just
Yeah.
feels like a neon sign of like, I don't think we're going to have a pregnancy trope in this series, but maybe that's like the epilogue kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I would love that. But
Me too.
I also love how immediately defensive he is of her, of something she doesn't even seem to care about. She like laughs about it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh,
Yeah.
duh. Like, I
She's like,
I
what do you
can't do
mean?
that. Like, she
Yeah.
doesn't think it's like
Let's
important at
go,
all.
MMC, for promoting female autonomy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his level of anger for her is just I love it. And he doesn't forget about it either. Like when he finally meets Madra, it's like
No.
the first thing he says to her
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
of like,
How dare you?
dare you? He's like, I will end you. You sterilized my mate when she was a child. And Madra's
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't realize I've angered this Fae warrior this much. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
scared now.
Good. Good,
Yes.
bitch. Be scared.
Exactly.
Be scared.
And then, obviously he's very upset and he goes to training and like beats the shit out of everyone to try and like get his anger out, but also not confiding in Saeris why he's really upset
Mhm.
because he
Yeah.
doesn't want to scare her with how much he cares. Because at this
Yeah.
point, they're barely having any type of situationship, even though he's like, you're my sole reason for existing. But I do kind of feel like this might be when he tells Ren who Saeris is during this training session. Because I almost feel like
Mm.
this is like a turning point of when Ren becomes more noticeable of Saeris. Because eventually, he does say that he knows, like
Mhm.
during a
Yeah.
battle later on. He's like, you better not die on me.
So, yeah.
Like in your first
He's
battle.
the only reason she's the only,
Yeah.
you're the only reason he wants to live. Yeah.
So exactly. So I'm thinking back to like, okay, when did Ren find out this information? I don't think he's known the whole story. I don't think that's something Kingfisher ever confided in him at the beginning. I think this might be, I could see them sword fighting. He's so upset about the sterilization, and this is when it comes out who Saeris is to
Yeah,
him.
he's like, I mean, I get that's shitty, but like, why are you so upset about it? And he's like, she's my mate.
She's the woman my mom wrote that entire book about, if he ever told.
Yeah.
I feel like Ren might know about the book.
Yeah.
So,
I think so, too.
yeah. Well, maybe not, because if he did, he would have recognized Saeris, but maybe this is when all of that kind of like comes out.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. He didn't have
But
to
I could
see the
see it.
book, but he could have heard about the book.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's true too. I love that he's in his brooding mode and Saeris just like wants answers and she's pissed off. And so she goes out drinking with Loreth. And I love this scene so much. It's like one of
so
my favorite parts of the
funny.
book. I think Callie does an amazing job with her side characters, of us falling in love with all these side characters. I think it's, the opposite of the last book we read with Shield of Sparrows, where I loved it, but we kept being like, there are no important side characters. Like, I don't love anyone besides the two main characters almost. And this
And
is like
Evie.
complete, and Evie. And this is like the complete opposite, where every side character is so juicy. They have their own personality and they have their own
And
moments.
backstory.
Yeah, moments and backstory. I love Loreth and I love his like awkwardness, being like, maybe you should discuss the whole biting thing with whoever's suggesting biting you.
Yeah, he's like,
Yes.
Oh, and how drunk she is in the scene. Like, I just read it as her being like, and he does this. Like,
and like, why won't he bite me? Sounds sexy. I feel like his fangs are hot for sure.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But we also find out in an important way that Fisher gave Loreth part of his soul. And this is really the turning point for me in the story of when you like, Fisher is actually probably one of the best males alive. Like to meet a total stranger and give him part of his soul.
Yeah. How selfless.
So selfless, so unheard of. Also, like, it makes me think, was Loreth also in Fisher's mom's book in some way? Like, how did Fisher know Loreth was going to be an important person in his life?
Maybe he didn't.
Great
Maybe
question.
That's what makes him
Right,
special.
but
maybe he's just so selfless.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, I'm sure there's been a lot of people he's run across who have been on the brink of death he hasn't offered this to,
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. But I do think like the whole them sharing a soul thing has to be very important later. I mean, it already was mildly important at the end of this book because he couldn't do that for Saeris because he would have died.
Yeah.
Which maybe that was like part of the reasoning for this, but I think it's going to be something even more later.
I think so too. I think he's somehow like the failsafe for Fisher's, I don't know, resurrection if he dies protecting them or whatever. I don't know. There has to be something in there.
I don't know.
It's
like
his
it just
jar. It's his jar
His
of
jar
mist.
of
Mist. That is from When the Moon Hatched, in
When
case
the moon
anybody is
hatched
wondering.
reference, my favorite moment, the jar of mist.
Yes.
It's where his soul is.
But it also makes me think Loreth is going to be a huge part of the story. She has said for the spin-off books, she wouldn't say who they're about other than she has confirmed Carry On will have one. But I could see Loreth being one of the other people we get a spin-off book for.
Because
I would love that.
Yeah, there is something to be said for like some random person literally sacrificed a part of their soul to keep you alive. And how does that change the trajectory of what your life is or how you feel or what you think or your beliefs or whatever? And how does that shape your future and the choices that you make? If someone is that,
I mean, it already did. He was
a
he was a singing bard and now he's like a warrior.
Yeah. And so what is, and how does that trickle down effect of that, the ripple effect?
Yes. I also just like love his backstory. I love that he was this like scrawny singing guy and now he's like this big tough warrior. He's very like Troy Bolton. He's got like this two opposing sides of creativity and not.
And also, what did he see as he was just the person no one really thought about as they were just a traveling singer, Like, he probably has a lot of information about a lot of different places and people.
So now Fisher decides it's time to take her to Ballard. And I do love this. It's like he's coming to terms with, okay, I might be falling in love with her. I'm going to take her home to meet my mom type of vibe, even though his mom's not there. Literally home. It's so sweet and like just the intimacy of the whole thing. And she's just like so confused. So confused.
She's like, where am I? Why am I here?
I also love his little moment where he's like, why haven't you brought up last night? And she was just like, I was thinking. He's like, no, like we had sex and you didn't say you haven't said anything. And she was just like, well, you kind of
Did you not like it?
Yeah. Well, she's just like, you kind of told me it was going to be a one-time thing. I'm not going to like be a masochist here and just torture myself.
Fair.
And I just love that. It's like probably in his head, he's like, oh, well, yeah, I have been pushing her away for weeks. So maybe I am an idiot. Yeah.
Maybe I am in the wrong.
Maybe I am in the wrong. But this is also one of my favorite parts of the book of, he has a really rough night. The Quicksilver is keeping him awake, which also now we really see that the Quicksilver is definitely killing him.
Yeah.
And she starts getting her runes and her real mate bond markings during their first real moment of like emotional intimacy,
Yeah,
not physical.
this is one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts of the book too. I mean, it's truly like, that thing where sex and intimacy do not always go hand in hand, and they don't have to.
Hmm.
What makes it's intimacy that is actually, connection is
Yep.
the catalyst for the runes. They react to emotional vulnerability, not lust, right?
I love it. I love that that's the way she's
Me too.
decided to do this because obviously
Yeah.
we've seen mates in other series and it's almost always like, oh, the mating bonds finally snapped into place once they had sex
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all those things. And I feel like this is such a better way to do it. No shame to those
Yes.
series.
No, not at all.
But I love, especially the way that their relationship has happened. And even Fisher says it later in the story, how he was like, I felt the mating bond and we hadn't had any chance to know each other yet or decide for ourselves if we wanted this. And
Yeah.
I love that the decision of the runes to show up did happen because they decided essentially that they wanted to have that intimacy
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
emotionally. Yeah.
Caretaking, intimacy. I mean, it's crazy. So many, that's really the thing that is the most important in a relationship, right? Like you can surely have sex with whoever you want and not actually care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he even says that to her
Yeah.
at the beginning of the book. He's
Yeah.
like, I can fuck plenty of people I hate.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
Yeah.
that's also like, a lesson in life too. Like not romantasy teaching us about life lessons, but it's also like, emotional vulnerability, openness, and intimacy are truly the foundation of not just a mate bond, but like a real relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I do like the dynamic that very early on in the book, you think he's written as very emotionally immature. And
Mhm.
then as the book progresses, you actually realize how emotionally mature he actually is.
I
And the
mean,
Yeah.
fact
he's
that he
1,700
actually,
years old.
He's
I hope
1,700
so.
years old.
yeah, like he actually comes from like, he's trying to do the right thing. He
Yeah.
just has a very bad way of showing it.
Yeah. I also think that there's a part of him that would have hidden the rune like truth forever just to like
Oh, you
shield
think?
her from the burden of it. I think. I
He
think
did kind of seem disappointed when it showed up.
he
Like
was
he
like,
was
"Oh
almost like,
no. Now she has to carry my burden." Right?
Yeah. Well, I think he was
mhm.
also hoping that maybe he was wrong a little bit about the mate bond because, like, he knows what it means because he grew up with the stories, especially the God bindings. It's like he knows those stories never end well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
it's a
think,
burden.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a burden also. Like, it's like, of course, you're being gifted with your like one true love and all those
Mhm.
things. But in their past, it's like that
The
means one of
cost?
us is going to die tragically,
Yeah,
probably.
the cost of it is great.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Cost of it
let's
is
talk
great.
about her runes,
Yeah.
okay? Yes,
Yes.
it says blessed one, light, dark, silver, steel, earth, air, fire, water. And then he finishes it off with alchemist stuff.
Just like all the things, you bridge all of the elemental forces, no biggie.
You'll figure it out. All those things.
Yes, but I mean, obviously, this is huge foreshadowing that she has way more magic than she knows. Later on in the book, Malcolm even says that he used to work with alchemists, and one of them was the one who discovered the key to his blood gift, and that
Hmm.
she has the power of brimstone as well, which is the title of the next book. So obviously, I think we're going to see
Yeah,
more of her magic next book, especially because she's also half fae and half vampire next book.
vampire. Yeah, 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 totally. I mean, I think
Yeah.
she is the embodiment of balance.
Mm-hmm.
She's
I
the
like that.
alchemist of light and shadow, blood and brimstone. Like all of these things, she's going to be the balance. She's bridging all of these things and creating balance in these worlds.
Yeah, which I
Mhm.
think, Zareth, the god of chaos, is hoping by like letting her not be swayed by any of his brothers or sisters because she's so powerful and a balance that she can bring balance back to the world.
Correct.
He's taking a risk,
Yeah.
essentially saying, I don't
Mhm.
know if you could, but you might be able to
Yeah,
because
it's
you
a
Yeah.
have
very
all of these
calculated
things.
risk. I mean, the world is already dying. So, like,
Yeah.
here's a very calculated risk to see if you can create new life.
Yeah.
Last ditch effort.
Yes.
Yes. And then obviously the last thing we have to talk about during this scene is that he does bite her. And obviously they have a great time with that, but he definitely regrets it the next day.
I
And
know. It makes me
yeah,
so sad when
it
she's
makes
talking
me
about the
sad
bird
too.
and he's talking about the bite.
Yeah. And I why do we think he is so upset that he bit her? I think it's because for him, the whole vampire thing, the way Malcolm has imprisoned him for over 100 years has really messed with him. Like,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
there are other Fae in this society who don't. It's obviously like taboo, but people do this in private. It's not like a thing that's not unheard of, you
Yeah. People
know?
do
Yeah.
a lot of kinky things in private.
Yes. But he seems really upset with himself. And when they're intimate later on in the book, he doesn't fight her again.
Yeah, no, I think
Mhm.
that's his trauma. I think it's his trauma.
I think so too.
Yeah. He needs
Which,
therapy.
yes, which like that brings us to a lot of the fandom thinks, which I don't agree with. So let's talk about it. But a lot of the fandom, at least on Reddit and things, think that Malcolm actually sexually assaulted Kingfisher, which is like
Yeah.
why he
I
is
100%.
think
like
so too.
this. You
I
think
think
so
so
Yes.
too.
too? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Really?
Do you
Yeah.
think
I got that vibe
I
strong.
I got that vibe when he was calling him either that or
Yeah.
he's like emotionally toying with the same
No, I
idea
I think
without the
he's
physical.
emotionally toying with the same. I think about the actual logistics of Malcolm sexually assaulting him. I think Fisher would die first. Like, and he's like a very strong Fey warrior. It's not like he couldn't fight Malcolm off. And Malcolm also says, like when he later on in the book when he's talking, he says he couldn't believe that he bit Saeris. That Fisher wore that steel plate across his neck every single day that he was around Malcolm and that
Mm,
he could never get it off him because it's even magically spelled to not be removed. So
interesting.
to me, that said to me, Malcolm has always wanted
Oh yeah,
to do it,
absolutely.
but never been actually able to. And it's just a super creepy motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I never got the impression that it actually happened. I always got the impression that Malcolm wanted it to happen
Huh.
and would have if he felt like he could dominate Kingfisher and get away with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what gave me the impression.
It's the wording.
It's
Yeah.
definitely the wording, and it was when he was like trapped down there forever. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Or maybe it just comes down to something so simple as like the dominating act or being controlled by somebody. They say that with like the bites, it feels very euphoric and it really like ties you into that person, not necessarily like mate bond style, but it creates a connection that I feel like maybe he didn't want to put on her. I don't know.
It's a burden. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more about that in book 2.
Yeah.
Maybe now that Malcolm is gone, Fisher will open up to Saris more about their creepy history.
Well, I mean,
Mhm.
he must because she's half and half.
Mm-hmm. True.
She's or
And now
maybe
they're
she'll
there.
magically know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And she's about to be the leader of them all. Like what?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So in our next battle, it's when he finally gives her Solus to wield,
Mhm.
and Solus starts talking to her,
Mhm.
even though it's supposed to be dormant. And also, it's where
She has a way of
just
waking things up.
slows down time magically, and then we like skate past that. Like Ren is
Yeah.
like, what the heck did you just do? And she's like, I don't know. And then they get distracted, essentially. Do we think this is a skill from Saris, or do we think it's due to Solus? Like, is this the gift Solus gives its wielder?
I think it might be Solus.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me too. Like how, Laura's sword has the angel fire
Mhm.
or whatever. I don't think of any of the runes that we've talked about seem time stopping to me.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
It's other
Yeah, no,
alchemeral
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or maybe it's just her Fae nature finally coming out because, like, she does have that one drop to be an alchemist in the first place.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
And maybe it's more that they just weren't expecting her to be as good a fighter as a Fae, and that's how Fae can kind of battle. Because I'm sure if they're moving so quickly, to them, a feeder looks like they've slowed down
Right.
in
Right,
time.
right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think we'll obviously learn more about it in book 2. But I love that it's just like a skated past thing. It's just like, what the
Yeah.
heck just happened? Oh,
Yeah.
let's go on our merry way. Battle time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got more pressing matters at the moment.
Exactly. And then obviously, Malcolm, quote unquote, captures Lainey, which is really Bellicon giving his own daughter to him, which is so messed up on so many levels.
Mhm.
But no one is surprised because Bellicon and Malcolm are very messed up people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. They're trying to figure out how to rescue her, all that stuff. I love that Carry On is like giving his 2 cents every 5 minutes. We love his comedic relief. let's talk about Danya a little bit. And yeah, obviously there's like the breadcrumb there of maybe Carry On and Danya might have a thing because he's like, oh, I love mouthy girls or whatever who hate me.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd read that book.
I'd buy it for
But
sure.
like, I'm also
he needs
a little
someone to give him a
like,
run for his money.
do I want Danya to be that person? I hate her. She's so annoying. But maybe she'll get a redemption
She's very
arc.
unlikable.
She's very unlikable. But like, so was Nesta in Akatar. So maybe we'll get a Danya redemption arc where he makes her stop being such a pain in the ass. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
We shall see.
Who knows? But I do think her hand getting blown off is a little bit deserved.
You know, I don't disagree.
Yeah, I hate her.
Especially with that. It just felt like, you know what? You were asking for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was deserved.
And I mean, I would actually like some more of her backstory because I feel like, how did you get to be so annoying? Like
on that note, I actually would like a book about you.
You're also like, you're really good friends. You are one of Fisher's wolves. So I feel like you couldn't possibly have always been this annoying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe.
trauma.
I don't know.
Probably.
Dragons and daddy issues.
Yes. Obviously, Saeris finds out about the runes from the healer. She confronts Fisher, all that stuff. She finds out about the book. Okay. I'm very curious about this book that his mother left him. It feels like there has to be way more in this book than what we're even being told, because Fisher also says that she's only even at the end of it. And I'm just like, what are all these premonitions? What does Mama Fisher know?
Yeah.
Mama Fisher.
Yeah. Also, I love that she left him this book because she knew that she was going to die. She knew that Bellicon was going to kill her, which is also like a crazy thing to know, which is also how obviously Fisher knows, because he says to Saeris early on in the book that both of their mothers were killed. And but according to Saeris, she thinks that, you know, his mom died in childbirth, which is not true.
Because that's what Lane had told her.
Yes. And I just feel like there has to be so much more in this book. Also, did his mom make a bargain with him about the diary before she died? Like, is he allowed to even share some of the contents?
Interesting.
I mean,
I think what, because didn't it say he pauses and he can't breathe at some point in time?
he does when he's trying to talk about it, but he's also talking about how his mom knew he was going to be like taken. So you could read it as like he can't talk up. He can't. Well, no, he can't talk about where he was taken, which was
I see.
the oath with
the other
Malcolm.
oath.
Yeah. So you could definitely read it that way. But I'm also just like curious if there was another oath, because he does have a hard time talking about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Carrie Ann also just like picks it up and reads it at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Maybe not. Maybe I've already talked myself out of the whole theory.
I love it so much.
Yeah. I love that scene too, where she's like walking through the room and he just like, you won't believe what I found. She's like, oh, is it a book with a bunch of drawings of me in it with pointed ears? And he's like, wait, what? How do you know that?
Yeah. So funny.
Casual.
Yes, casual. But his mom is a really interesting character to me because he also says that she had all these magical items made for him with the witches. Yeah, that she knew he would need.
Yeah.
One of them being the plate with the neck thing that was magically gifted to him, so it could not be removed. Another reason why I think Malcolm never got what he wanted. And obviously the pendant, the ring, all those things. But also, it sounds like the witches and the Fae did not have good relationships. So why did the witches do this for her? I have so many questions. Which also brings us to the witches. They just seem to have a huge role to play.
Yeah.
And so many things about them that are just mysterious. Like they are being called dragon lovers. They are said to be the cause for the blood curse while also being the ones to find the cure.
Yep.
So also, are they human? Like, are they Fae witches or are they human witches? I don't totally understand. Yeah, unclear, because it's like Fae also have magic. So are they humans with magic then? Is like the vibe I get. But at the same time, Fisher's like, there's no humans left. So I have so many questions.
Right.
It is really like back end loaded. And I know this is a setup book, essentially, but within the last couple chapters, you're like, wait, now there's vampires. Wait, now there's witches. Wait, dragons?
Yeah. I know there's
like,
definitely like clearly Fae and vampire go together. Witches and dragons go together. for
Yep.
sure.
I think the
And maybe-
dragons, if there are any left, might be with the witches and hiding.
Absolutely.
That makes
and
sense to me.
especially because it says dragon lovers. Like perhaps it's literal and symbolic. Who could know? Who could know? But it seems to me like they hold the secret to reversing vampiricism, right? The cure.
What a word.
Yeah, well, they help save Lainey.
The cure lost 1,000 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or dragons do. I mean, I don't know.
And I'm also curious for the bonus chapter at the end of the book, Tal's trying to get Fisher to guess what Bellicon is up to and looking for the witches. And they make a
Mhm.
comment of like, Bellicon hates the witches. Why would he be looking for them? And we obviously never get the answer to that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also very suspicious. I think he's probably looking for them to like wipe them out because they hold
Mhm.
secrets
Because
and
they have the
answers.
and
Yeah.
they could reverse his, power and control.
His triumvirate, whatever the thing is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, let's talk about that. Like, at the end, we find out that Madra, Bellicon, and Malcolm are all in league. They're all called a triumvirate. 3 crowns sharing one power source is what they say.
Yeah.
And that they call each other brother. So a lot of people get confused by this because then it's like, how is a human, a fae, and a vampire related? I don't know that they're actually brother and sister. I think it's like that, camaraderie type of brother of like when you're in the army with someone, you're like my brother.
brothers in arms.
Yeah,
or
like a brother
It's
in
like when you're in
arms.
league with one another.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Like, I don't think they're actually related. I mean,
Yeah.
they could be. They do mention that Bellicon and Malcolm are like some of the only Fae alive still who lived through the blood curse. So
Mhm.
maybe they are actually related, but I feel like
Mhm.
that's a stretch, especially with Madra in the mix. Like, how
Yeah.
is she related to them actually being their sister? I do think it's just like that. Yeah. But it's interesting because obviously Fisher kills Bellicon, but he comes back to life because of this triumvirate magic.
Yeah.
But
How
then
disappointing, right? Like you
So
have this like
disappointing.
victory, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck? Why
especially
are you
with what
back?
Bellicon did to his family, and he's finally like, this is from my mother, my father, and like all this stuff, and then he
Yeah.
doesn't actually die. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But then
I want
Malcolm
you to die.
actually does die.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's because it's a different type of magic used at the end to kill Malcolm. He, drinks from Carrion, which is like the
Yeah.
greatest reveal of all time,
Of
by
all
the way.
time.
So good.
I loved that.
Agreed.
Loved it.
Certainly didn't see that coming.
Did not see that coming at all. I literally thought Carrion was there purely for comic relief.
Yes. And it was a great way to tie in like, yeah, guy, why don't you bite me? I don't fucking care. You know what I mean?
I
it's
just
like,
love the way
oh,
he did it too. He's
how?
like, oh,
Yeah.
you didn't let me finish introducing myself.
It was amazing.
It's so haughty in the best way ever, but it's also so his character.
Yeah.
He kept with his same personality, and everyone's like, what are you doing, dude? And then he's like, I got this.
Mm-hmm. And which is why he was
And
so
he did.
insistent to go save Fisher. He told Saeris it was like camaraderie and like just being her bro and all that. But really, he was like, this is my chance to get close to Malcolm and see if I can take him out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. It's
Yeah, it's
so
He's
good.
like,
One
I've
of
had
my
a century
favorite
to plan
reveals.
this.
Yes,
Yeah.
one of my favorite reveals of all time. To just being like, oh, by the way, I'm the royal heir you guys have all been looking for, which also on a reread, every time you read Fisher, like tell him off and stuff, it's just so much funnier even
Yeah,
because you're like,
agreed.
you're saying that to the man you're actually like hunting for and
Yeah.
wishes would come back to the realm that your father died protecting.
And
Yeah.
you
It's
did
just so
accidentally bring
funny.
him back to the realm.
He did, which all obviously is just so fated, and like the gods had to have had a hand in that. Like it just is too much of a coincidence.
Yeah.
All of it. It's just so good. So good.
Yeah, that was
I
really
also,
good.
on the reread, it was like knowing Carrion's Fae the whole time, you definitely read his interactions differently sometimes. And there's even a point in the book where it's after Saeris has had sex with Fisher one of the times where she's walks into the room and Carrion makes a face and she goes, oh, it's almost like he could smell the pheromones on me, but there's no way he
Yes.
could because humans can't smell that. And now we know he's
I
not
was so
human.
just like tongue in cheek, just like, because
Yeah.
I did the audiobook and then I read it when I
Mhm.
got like the new one. And so then when I read that part, I was like, oh, he knows.
Yep. Of
He
course.
absolutely knows.
He was like, oh, girl, okay.
And he probably heard the whole thing too.
Probably.
He was
Fae
like,
hearing.
oh, okay.
It's just so funny. And I love how, like, upset she gets. She's like, I've known you since I was 14 or whatever. And he's like, you've known me since I was, like, 1100 and something.
Yeah,
So?
yeah, exactly. So, yes, and?
She's like,
Yes,
you
and?
slept with me. And he's like, so I sleep with a lot of people.
He's like, yeah. How many have I slept with in the past 5 million years?
Yes. But back to our triumvirate, they say that in order to kill one of them, you have to kill them all, which
Mhm.
ends up not being true. So I wonder if Bellicon and Madra will be easier to kill in the next book now that the triumvirate seems to be at least broken.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to require different elements and working together with the witches, the dragons. I mean, brimstone is a very specific thing.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I also think a big part of killing Malcolm wasn't only him drinking the blood, which obviously was a huge thing of it, but also that Solus is the one that killed him and it's a magic alchemical
Yeah,
sword. Because,
absolutely.
Yeah.
when she cuts off Malcolm's head, it catches on fire and then Angel's breath seemingly releases from the sword.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think it's almost like the perfect combination of things probably happened to like sever a head of the triumvirate or whatever.
I
Yeah.
mean, the balance that she has, she creates. She's like, oh, all of the elements have to come together. Alchemy
Yeah.
babes.
Mm-hmm.
But also it does make me wonder, what does it mean for their powers? So if they were 3, does that mean that now they are weakened? Or does
Right.
that mean that weirdly now they're stronger?
Well, I've also wondered, like, is the triumvirate the reason Madra has immortality too?
Right.
Like, is that
Yeah,
actually the
because she's
magic giving
human,
her that
allegedly.
power? Right, exactly. So it's kind of just like, is she gonna start dying?
Like
how
I
does
kind
it-
of
yeah.
I kind of wish it were more like that whole, like, in like Snow White or even Tangled. How when she like cuts off that lifeline of the magic, she just like
withers
evaporates into
away.
dust pretty much. I was like, dang, wished it were that.
Yes.
Hmm.
But speaking of all the magic reawakening, they say that the death magic leaves Gilthrier, and that's when all of their swords start working again, their magic starts working again, which makes me think, is that going to also be true in Sanisroth once she's woken up?
Right.
I couldn't find any clues during like that one chapter to say if magic was alive there yet again
Right.
or not, because when they're fighting them at the Darn and stuff, magic, it's like hits a wall
Yeah.
because of all the death magic on the other side. So I'm wondering if Malcolm's gone now, does that mean the death magic also leaves Sanisroth? I don't know. Or is it more tied to the land and the
to
land being
the
dead?
boundaries. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
interesting.
Because also I feel like if she's the queen of Sanisroth, that means obviously we're going to be spending a lot of time there, I think,
Yeah.
in the next book. And it would be weird to me if all of a sudden no magic worked there and we're spending all of our time there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So maybe this was like a little like hint that magic will be reawakened there now that Malcolm is
Yeah.
gone.
I love it.
Which, speaking of going back to Zavarin, Madra
Mm.
escapes through the Quicksilver.
Of course she does.
Mhm.
How? How did she get there in the first place?
Does she have a relic?
Well, no, that, A. And B, the whole story, they keep talking about how Saeris is the only one who can open the Quicksilver. So I think it's Heron. I think that's why she's kept him alive for centuries, is because he is an alchemist.
Oh.
Well, maybe he's an alchemist that got stuck there.
Yes, I think he's an alchemist that got stuck there, and she tied him to her so that she would be the only one to open and close the Quicksilver and have that
I buy
power.
that.
And she killed
Yeah.
off everyone else except
buy
for
that.
him.
I buy it.
Yep.
I'd buy
Yeah.
that.
Because how else did she A, get there, and B, escape? And
Yeah.
the only
And
person
he
who
also
was
knew
with
what
her,
the sword was.
yes, and he's the only person who was there with her from Zilvarin in the first place.
Mhm.
So I think Heron is a secret alchemist. That's my big theory there.
I buy that.
Yeah. And in the beginning, he's like, you don't know what you're messing with, girl. You don't know what you're unlocking. He seems very like he
the
knows what
know.
he's talking about. Yeah.
I like that.
Because otherwise,
good
it
one.
feels like a plot hole a little bit, too,
Yeah.
of like, how did she escape through the Quicksilver? It wasn't Saeris didn't turn it on,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. And then we have our last bits of we finally get Tal and the whole Tal kind of story. Immediately when she's dying and Tal and Fisher are friendly, I think everyone was a little like, oh, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then we find out in the new POV chapter that they've known each other their whole lives, and he's just as close with Tal when he was a kid as Ren.
Yeah.
Which I love this backstory. I love that Tao secretly hated being a vampire. He was turned against his will. He's been trying to like basically do anything he can not to listen to Malcolm for centuries, but obviously because of the oath and the way,
Yeah.
you know, vampires are bonded, he had to listen to him in some ways. But
Yeah.
it's just, I loved even like in the POV where it was like, I literally just do exactly what Malcolm says. It says I have to hurt Fisher, so I'm going to pinprick him with a needle. I heard him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I love it.
I love it too.
Also love how emotionally vulnerable he was with Saeris, like right when she was waking up.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, listen, you're just going to have to figure out what that means for you because it took me a really long time to figure out what it meant for me. And I'm just like, you're so emotionally vulnerable right now. You don't even know if she is like fully even fine with you being in the room and you're the one there to like guide her into this. I don't know. I just thought that was really beautiful.
Agree. And this leads to the biggest theory I saw on Reddit was that everyone thinks that there's going to be a Fisher, Tal, Saris love triangle.
I don't like it.
No. I'm going to do a hard pass on that.
No, I don't want it.
Well, and here's the reasonings people online are saying. And I think it's because people are confused a little bit by the lore and the world building.
Mm-hmm.
So the big reasoning is that we find out from the whole Lainey Malcolm situation that Malcolm bites Lainey. So she becomes a thrall and obsessed with him, doing her master's bidding, all of those things. A lot of people are taking that instance and applying it to Tal biting Saeris. Right?
It was different though.
But it's different. So if a vampire bites a fae and doesn't turn them, then yes, they become enthralled. They eventually become a feeder once they die. If the vampire turns them, they just become a vampire. There's no thrall. Malcolm has turned all of his lords and Tal. None of them are like in love with Malcolm.
Right. Yeah. Much to his chagrin.
Much. And in fact, like I'm pretty sure Tal and Saris's relationship is going to be more like father-daughter, because that's the way Malcolm turned Tal. And I don't think Malcolm was actually Tal's father, but he calls him father throughout the whole book.
Correct. That's the vampire language.
And that's kind of like when you read other vampire series, usually the sire, whoever turned, like for people who have read spoiler for The Discovery of Witches, like whoever turned you, they teach you how to become a vampire. It becomes like a familial bond. And specifically in that series, if you have a lover you've fallen in love with before you're a vampire, you should have someone else turn you so your relationships don't get muddy and weird. Like it's becomes more of like a teacher protege moment than like a lover's thing. And I think that's what we're going to see here, especially with who Tal is to Fisher. It just makes more sense. Also, all of that aside, all of the freaking foreshadowing of their mate bond being the thing that's going to end universes. I'm sorry, this is not going to be a love triangle.
There's no way.
Like, there's just no way. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no. When you first texted that, I was like, wait, what? How? Where are they even grabbing this from? I don't see it.
But so many people are grabbing it. It was literally the number one theory I kept coming across on Reddit that was like, it's definitely going to be a love triangle next book. And I mean, for these reasons. And I was just like, but you guys are confusing the whole biting versus actually becoming a vampire thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the best example is that Tal is not in love with Malcolm. In fact, hates him, has been trying to like get away from him from centuries.
You're like, exhibit A.
Yeah. So, and you know, maybe I'm just assuming Malcolm is the one who bit him, but it sounds like, you know, Malcolm's the only one who could turn other people besides Tal. So, like, who else would have bitten him?
Right.
Yeah. And so it just doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah, I agree.
And thank God, because I don't want a love triangle.
No.
But I'm excited to see what it means for her to be half vampire and half fae next book. It kind of seems like it's going to mean nothing other than that the gods can not find her, because vampires and fae honestly seem very similar. So to be half and half, I feel like just means to be like fae essentially. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time to move on to our roses.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Where we hand out our flowers to the moments, characters, and lines that absolutely bloomed in this book, the scenes that made us scream, swoon, or maybe question our life choices in the best possible way. Let's give credit where it's due and maybe a few thorns while we're at it.
Yes.
Yes.
Start
Okay,
with our roses.
Let me tell you about roses, guys. There is
Ashley has a hot take.
Well, no, there's a character that we have not mentioned once.
I know what you're about to say.
Oh, yes.
The fox.
Yeah.
Onyx.
Onyx.
The fox, you guys.
And his name is Onyx,
And
like
his
Obsidian.
name is
His name is
Yeah.
Onyx. There is so I'm like the fox is one of my roses. Onyx is one of my roses, but also one of my buds. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to see like the possible future in Brimstone. Like, is he a familiar? Is he a conduit? It feels like her mirror appears there and appropriate. Like her comfort. It's just, you know, me and animals.
It's like they
I'm
can
just, like, always
communicate
my
too,
favorite.
though.
Yeah.
Yes, which
Yeah.
Callie has said Onyx is inspired by her dog.
Right.
Adorable.
Right. So like it's her familiar, you know what I mean? But like a linked spirit or whatever. But anyway, that is, you know, and also a fox is a very sort of spiritual, symbolic animal as well. So like
And Fisher says, or maybe Saeris says this too, like that they think the fox can understand them. And they're both
Absolutely.
like, surprised by that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I just love him.
Me too.
He's just like perfect, fluffy little cozy relief.
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
Perfect
you know,
relief, yeah.
we love the animals more than we love the
do.
people.
And if
But
Onyx
yeah,
gets hurt, I will riot.
I will I will
Yes.
not finish the book.
I don't
Sorry.
think he would. But
No.
just knowing she based him off her
dog.
dog, and like
Yeah.
she loves her dogs, and so like I just feel like she's a dog person, so she would never hurt Onyx.
Yeah. But anyway, I had to bring up Onyx because I love Onyx.
Yes.
I agree.
I mean,
Onyx is definitely a rose.
Yeah.
Another rose is definitely Carry On. I mean, he's like
Absolutely.
Yes.
the best
Yeah.
character. And
Yes.
just what roses for me in general are the side characters as a whole. Like I
Yeah.
was talking about earlier, this world just has such good fleshed out side characters that you care about just as much as Saeris and Fisher,
Mhm.
which is hard to pull off sometimes.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah, and it's a great sense of found family, which I think we all love and relate to.
Mhm.
I just love, I want to know more about Loreth. I want to know more about Carry On. I even want to know more about Danya for some reason.
I mean, like, we want to know, like, who hurt you?
Who
Even
hurt you?
Taladeus, like he came in at the very end, but I'm like, I need more about you. For sure.
I need more about Tal too. Apparently he's like Fisher's best fucking friend.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Also, love Ren.
Yes,
love
love Ren.
Ren.
Are Ren and Lainey gonna have a thing? Like, there's definitely a little hints there.
Yeah.
Like, I could never tell if it was because like they grew up together and
Yeah,
it was
like,
like that
right,
brother-sister
right.
thing, or if it's because they've been like secretly in love with each other for hundreds of years. It could be either or.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yes.
I also love the idea. Of course, I already said, I think Alex too, that one of our favorite parts of the book was the intimacy of
Mhm.
her caretaking him and how that's when the sort of transfer of all of the symbolism and everything. I think that's also, it's kind of this concept of alchemy as tied to emotions, and the reason behind transformation is it pain? Is it magic? Is it love? That creation of a new world or a world or change is all sort of stemmed from being in touch with your emotions.
Mhm.
There's something there. It's like alchemy as emotions as alchemy, emotional alchemy. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I do love that. And I love too the through line of the Asha butterfly
Little
story.
Osha? Yeah,
Yes,
same.
of it.
So
That's a big
beautiful.
one for me as well.
I
like,
loved it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that at all.
Well, yeah.
And that's also why like the butterflies are on the cover, because it seems so like, well, the old cover.
Yeah.
I know, I'm like looking at the old cover. Yeah.
Yeah, for
But
those
yeah,
who
I'm like-
haven't seen it, the very highly controversial old cover.
Old cover, which is crazy because I do know people who are not reading this book because they're protesting the cover, which is hilarious.
I mean,
I feel bad for
don't
Callie
judge
for the
don't
cover
judge a book.
situation.
Yeah, don't judge a book by its
Judge
cover.
A book by its cover.
And I also feel bad for her for the cover situation. I know her feelings have definitely been hurt over the years,
Yeah.
which is why the new cover is, for those who don't know, this.
Beautiful.
Which is very
Yes.
beautiful.
It is very pretty, but she did not realize the level of hate the old cover was going to get. And she did self-publish the book the first time herself, so she didn't have
Mhm.
any money. She made the cover herself. And so I do feel like the animosity towards it is just uncalled for a
Yeah.
little bit. And it's just like, I'm sorry. There are so many bad romantasy covers out there. I mean, that's why we do our fun thing of like the book sleeves for our listeners, because
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with this specific cover, but most
Yeah.
romantasy covers I feel like are fairly terrible. So to
Yeah.
point this one out as being like extra terrible or whatever it is people are saying, I'm like, I mean, but the other covers are good.
Okay.
Like-
Also, I would love to interject. Like the OG romance novels, listen.
Yeah,
None
that's
of
what I
those are
mean
good.
is
None
Yeah,
of those
they're
are good.
terrible.
what? They're all
Yeah.
bad.
They're
Terrible.
so bad. And that's like, I don't know. I think those ones are even more intense from like when we were kids. Like,
Yes.
whoa.
No, totally agree.
We're
I feel
spoiled now because just things are just so much more aesthetically pleasing than they used to be.
I
Yeah.
guess. But I mean, there's also like a definite, like, there's so many romantasy books sometimes that have almost the same cover too, where they just did like a formula of like this
Yeah.
type of script with like some
Mhm.
fire, like whatever it is.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like sometimes I can't even tell the difference between those books apart, which is equally as like terrible to me. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
get a little more creative.
Correct.
I don't know.
I mean, to that exact point, like Sarah J. Maas, the Akatar books, they
Mhm.
all literally look the same. They're just a different color.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nothing exciting, to be
No.
honest.
No.
It tells
Like,
you
they're kinda
nothing about
boring.
what the book is going to be about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nothing.
I
But no one had
digress.
anything to say about that.
No. But also, you know, at the end of the day, publishing's just missing the mark, which is why we make our own covers because I'm sorry, all the people reading these books, they want to live in a cabin in the woods with their witchy selves. They want
Absolutely.
all of their books to be leather-bound tomes.
Or in a castle.
Yes.
Yes.
Or their castle.
So publishers really need to make these books look like vintage, I feel like Art Deco, like beautiful, even
Yeah.
if they're paper. And that's really hitting the nail on the head of like, we want
Well,
our
or
fantasy
they don't have
books.
to. You can just keep doing them and
That's
then,
true.
you know what I
Yep.
mean? And then go sign up for our Patreon and buy
Yes.
them. Like we should have an Etsy shop. You know what I mean?
Yes. Let's get back into our roses. We've
Yeah.
definitely tangented on the book cover
Mhm,
for a minute, which, you know, did need to be brought up because of weirdly how much this freaking book cover is
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah. I think my last little rose is when she forged the sword and was so proud of herself because she was just like, see, I can do things, you know, and Fisher's reaction to it. All of that was just really pretty to me, too. I don't know. There's a lot of roses. I
There's
like
so
this
many
book so
roses.
much.
One of my big roses is I absolutely love when she makes the sword for Carry-On and then he names it Simon.
What?
I laughed so hard during that part. And it was just like, of course, Carry-On named his sword Simon. And then I love that he's just like, it looks like a Simon.
Looks like a Simon.
And him and the sword are like, telling dirty jokes to each other or whatever. I'm just like, oh my God, this is the most Carry-On thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved it though.
Hilarious.
It's so good.
So good. All right, let's talk about our thorns.
I have one that is hyper specific.
Okay.
So, okay, early on when she is in the first forge, when Kingfisher says, like a hungry little bitch
Oh.
in heat,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it gave me the ick. Did
I
not
mean,
like
it's supposed to give you the ick.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And it works.
I know.
It worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
That one just,
Yeah.
it really got me. And
It
I was
sticks
like,
with ya.
it was immediately a thorn. I wrote it down because I was like, I need to remember this.
Gross.
Yeah.
I agree.
But it's supposed to be gross. Yeah.
And another thorn for me is just, oh my God, too much of the book. And she's like, I've got to get back to Zilvarin. I've got to get back to Zilvarin. I'm like, stop. You're not. You're just not. So do your job. Figure it out. Like everything has already been established that nobody else can go through the Quicksilver, like until you figure it out. So stop complaining. Your brother's fine-ish. Just do the thing.
Yeah.
Please. I don't know.
Yeah.
It
No, I get
bothered
it.
me.
I mean, I feel like I don't have very many thorns in this, but I feel like some of the themes that are important are heartbreaking in a way. So they kind of come off as thorns for me. Like, you know, her sterilization is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
ugh, it's cruel, it's dehumanizing, it's an act of control, but it does also add depth and devastation to the story and also like a redemption arc for her own, for reclaiming her autonomy in whatever way
Yeah.
that's going to happen. I also feel like there's just in a lot of these worlds, right? Like the whole idea is censorship and control and manipulation, and every truth is edged in pain. And like, but that's why I think I like the alchemy, like the emotional alchemy of it, because it's just taking things that are really terrible and sort of alchemizing them into something better. But I think my thorn is just that there's so much that needs healing and so much that's broken that it's kind of upsetting. But I also know that that makes way for the alchemy of the things that we love and the buds that we're looking forward to, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You can't have the highs without the lows.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, one of my thorns is definitely Danya. I mean, like I said, I do want to know more about her, but at the same time, I wish she was more of like a lovable bitch. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? She's like
Kat.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Kat. Like spoilers for Empyrean. I love Kat, even though she's horrible. You still are like, oh, but you're juicy horrible in like a great, interesting way. And I kind of secretly love how mean you are.
Yeah.
Whereas like Danya's just kind of like vigilant and annoying like a child.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She is very child
She's
petulance.
temper tantrums, like just enough.
Like actual temper tantrums. So I feel if she does get a redemption arc, I feel like it's gonna have to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My other thorn, weirdly, is also Lainey a little bit. I feel like, you know, we get so many amazing side characters and we get introduced to her as like Saeris's first person who's nice to her, who she like, trusts. And then she disappears for the whole rest of the book.
Yeah.
And then she's also like, very, I feel like, naive. Like, I don't know. She
is. She is.
Yeah.
She's not trying to ruffle any feathers.
Well, no, that's why she gets in trouble.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you know what your father's doing is wrong. You could also like just leave the castle and go to college. Fisher would let you be there. Like, I honestly don't know why she doesn't. Like, there has to be some kind of backstory I'm missing.
Yeah, there has to be more.
Yeah. But I did think that was kind of a weird thing of like, we got her so intensely for like 10 chapters and all of a sudden she just like disappeared the whole rest of the book. And then when Malcolm has her at the end, you're like, oh yeah, Lainey.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Where's she been the whole time?
Great.
But that's just like it's like, it doesn't bother me that much. It's just like a little bit of a thorn to me.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would trim nothing out of this book. I loved Quicksilver.
I liked it all.
Yeah.
I liked it all.
It didn't feel like anything was unnecessary. Even like the red flags with Fisher are necessary, even if I don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that enemies to lovers whole thing.
Also, I feel like the progression of the book was really good. Like, we kept moving. Like, it was like we were going places, seeing things, meeting new people, going on adventures, having sexy time.
The world building's great.
The world building was great.
The world building, yeah.
I heard some people describe this book as the fast food of the genre. And I was like,
wait,
almost like a guilty pleasure, like...
I don't love that.
I've heard that
not
too,
a lot
but
of
I
depth.
disagree.
I disagree with it.
Yeah.
I think maybe you're missing the point. And I think maybe you're missing a lot of the world building if you think that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So my trim is people's opinion about this book.
I mean,
I love that.
Don't get it wrong. Like, this book is insanely popular. It's probably like the most popular book after Fourth Wing and ACOTAR. It did get a 7-figure Netflix deal to become a movie. Like, very excited for that. Callie Hart is usually billed right under Rebecca Yarros. So, you know, it is still a beloved book. But yes, in terms of, and you know what, even Fourth Wing has hater comments. Like, everyone's there are gonna be people who just like don't like a certain book.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. Nothing is.
Not for everyone.
And you're entitled to your opinion. But
yeah.
But it's wrong.
But it's
your
wrong.
opinion's wrong. But yes.
Let's talk about our buds. Obviously, Taladeus is like one of my biggest buds.
Yeah.
Yes. How could he not be?
Yes, I'm so intrigued by him. I want to learn more about Fisher's mom. Like, it just feels like she has all the answers. She's the key to everything.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
All of it.
Yep. I mean, obviously excited to see Fisher and Saeris in the next book. Callie has said their relationship quite deepens in the next book.
Of course.
Of course. Very excited for that. We get it, obviously, in the second half of this book, but seeing Fisher's, like, sensitive, thoughtful side and all those things is just so good. And the sequel is in 50% of his POV as well.
Big bud.
Big bud there. Yeah.
Dragons?
Yeah, maybe dragons.
Maybe a dragon.
Dragon return. I'm excited to see how she embraces her full alchemist power.
That too. I want to know all the
Yeah.
powers because
I know, yeah.
What else
she
is
seems
there?
to be insanely powerful, but she doesn't think she has any magic. So I feel like
Right.
we're going to be making a big jump here.
Yeah.
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 Also, beginning of last book, her being like, magic's not real. And then beginning of this book, she's like, I am a powerful queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I also love to in the first book the scene in the forge where he's making her pick everything up from hand.
Yes.
And he's like, well, magic is only for righteous purposes. And then he just like does it in 5 seconds. Whatever Ren's like, he definitely uses his magic for mundane tasks.
Yes.
And I feel like she just doesn't understand magic in this book. And so
Yeah.
to find out at the end that she's the most powerful alchemist who's ever lived and she has all these unknown powers is just going to be
Yeah.
really fun to get into.
Yeah, it's going
Yeah.
to be so fun. I feel like if Quicksilver was about, the fundamentals of alchemy, I think Brimstone is about like lighting it on fire.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This book was just a very, very solid yes from me. And
Oh,
I can't
yeah,
wait to see what more of the characters come about, and who else we're going to get introduced to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you texted me, you read this book in like 24 hours. And I
Yes.
was like,
That's crazy.
I mean, I also read this book in 24 hours, but like that's not unusual for me.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I
don't
am
know how
not
you
the
have
resident book psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So I was like, Allie really liked this one.
I really did. I really, really did.
Well, okay,
Well,
ladies.
And that's Quicksilver. Fae, vampires, Quicksilver pools, and a whole lot of emotional trauma, just how we like it. And we're still reeling from the ending.
Yeah. Sarah's really said, steal first, think later. And somehow ended up half vampire, half fae, and fully feral for Fisher. Girl
Ooh.
was in her chaos era, and I respect it.
But we're not leaving Avelia just yet. Next up, we're diving into The Gate, the bonus story that takes us back to Fisher's past. New characters, old heartbreak, and the kind of emotional damage that Callie Hart apparently writes for sport. Before heading into our deep dive of Brimstone in January.
Yay!
Can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Wait, where do we find the gate, Alex?
Oh, yes. So The Gate, for those who haven't read it, is on Callie Hart's website. It is a 2-part short story into Fisher's past. And we're just doing a little almost mini episode to cover it because of the holidays.
Perfection.
So don't forget to rate, review, and tell us if you'd survive a desert where water's rationed, but flirting definitely isn't. And we will see you next month.
See you next time. Saucy
See
Scribes.
Scribes.
Saucy Scribes out. Love you guys.
Love you.